Hey guys, Morgan's Maintenance. Today's tool review is going to be on the PowerSmith Voyager. It is a collapsible LED like tripod type light. Model number on this one is PVLR8000A. And what that 8000 stands for is 8,000 lumens. So that's pretty bright. You know, a lot of my lights, the main two that I use, this one's the M18 radius light. I think it's 2,000 lumens. The M12 rocket light, which I have up above us, that's 1,400 lumens. So this is quite significant as far as brighter. Now, whether it is or not, I have no idea. Like if it's really 8,000 lumens, there's no way for me to test that. But there's no way for me to test that that's really 2,000 lumens either. I'm sure there is some ways you can do it. I don't have the ability to do that. But what I'm going to do in this video is I waited till it was dark to come shoot this. I'm going to turn off all the lights in my building. And then we're going to compare. I'll show you how bright this one is to light up the space, my rocket light, and then this one. So if this one's supposed to be 8,000, we'll see, is it that much brighter than a 2,000 lumen Milwaukee? Does it seem like it's really getting close to being that many times brighter? So we'll see that as we go. But basically, I was watching the Den of Tools. He was at I think it was a trade show type thing, like a builder show. These people had a booth set up, and he started talking about the light, and that's what got me looking at it. Was really three things. One is the fact that it's 8,000 lumens, and none of my lights are even close to that. And there's been some times where I do stuff in temporary lighting situations, like, you know, drywall and painting and stuff like that. And it'd really be nice to have a really bright light that you can shine on walls so you can really see what you're doing in certain things. And then plus it just gives out a lot of light. But again, I'll show you that in a little bit. The second thing was the price. So this is going to run you about, normally it's bare tool $150, but right now it's on sale on Amazon for $127, and then it's also on sale at Home Depot for like $129 or $130. So it's a little bit cheaper on Amazon, but the price came down on it a little bit. So the price is significantly better, because if you buy, you know, this light here is only 2,000 lumens, and you're looking at $130 to $200, depends on what kind of cell you get that on. The M12 rocket light's the same, 1,400 lumens for, you know, $150 to $180. So if you get into the M18 rocket lights, which would be the comparables of this, you're looking at minimum $229 for the smaller one, which I think is still only 3,000 lumens. And then if you get up into 6,000 lumens, which is probably getting close to what this is in comparable, you're looking at $450. So it's quite a difference. Now, as far as build quality goes, which we'll get into as I talk about it, maybe that's what you're getting, what you pay for. So it just depends on how durable you might need something. And again, I'll talk about that more in detail in a little while. How hard is your job site going to be on your light? Sometimes it might be worth it to spend that extra, you know, couple $100. And then the third thing, though, that really got my attention was basically they sell battery adapters that go with this for almost every battery platform. I know they have one for DeWalt, they've got one for Bosch, they got one for Makita, and then I purchased this one for Milwaukee, and they're only about 10 bucks. So basically you can get an 8,000 lumen light to work on multiple tool brands. If you've already in a battery platform, you know, I don't have to carry around a special battery or anything like that. So that was really intriguing to me, and that's why I decided to go ahead and try one of these out and get one of these. So again, bare tool, $130. Now, what I want to say up front is bare tool, $130 means bare light, bare tool. That means whenever you get it in the mail, because the number one negative review I read on this was people were mad. They got it to their house, and basically you can't even use it because they sell an AC adapter for it for $40 that allows you to plug it into the wall. They sell these adapters like these for about 10 bucks a piece for each one of those that I just mentioned. And then they also sell their own batteries and their own charger. So you can buy a kit that already has that too if you don't have any other battery platform and you want to do that. But bare tool, you get nothing. You get none of that. So if you get it in the mail that way, you can't plug it up, you can't use a battery, you can't even turn it on. And I get why people would be frustrated with that, because in my mind at first I was just like, why would you not at least make it to where you can plug it in? But then again, I got to thinking, I'm primarily going to use it with batteries. Now, is it a nice option to have something plug in? Yeah, that's what I really like about the Milwaukee Lights. They give you both options. I can plug that one in, or I can put a battery in it. That is really nice. But I very seldom plug them in. I almost always use them with batteries. So if I know up front I'm only going to use batteries with this, or I know up front I'm only going to plug this in, I could basically buy the bare tool and then I pick how I think I'm going to use it. So if they put an AC adapter on this, instead of me getting it for $130, maybe I would have to spend $180 to get this light built like that, versus if they give it to me with this option and I can only spend $10 more to get the batteries that I can use. That's saving me some money in the long run. So again, as long as you know it up front, they're basically giving you the tool and letting you pick which option and then paying for it to get the light that however it is that you want to supply power to it. So again, just make sure if you buy one, you got to decide how you're going to power it up and how you're going to use it. But let's go ahead and open this light up. Let me show you its features, and then we'll do a comparison of the lumens between it and the Milwaukee Lights that I have. All right, guys, you can see it's pretty compact. You have 33 inches in its closed position like this, 4.5 inches wide, and it's also very light. It's only 9.5 pounds, so you can carry it pretty easily. They do also give you a carrying strap. It's got a couple little eyelets here that you can put that on. I'll probably never put it on there, won't probably use it. But again, very compact. You could easily fit this in your truck, in your work van, tuck it in somewhere. I can put it in my deck drawers and use it like that. Do have this strap that wraps around the bottom to keep all this together whenever it's in its closed position. It also has feet that come out. Those have holes in it, so if you're on a job site and you don't want it to get tipped over, you could possibly put a screw into the floor if it's, depends on what stage of construction that you're in. This part's metal, and then some of it's plastic, so it's a combination of the two. I'm going to say up front, durability-wise, I don't quite think it's built the same as maybe the Milwaukee Lights. I think that it would hold up fairly well. I know it's going to for what I use it for, because again, I don't work on job sites with multiple people who are around my tools that, you know, aren't going to be careful and are going to knock it over. I think it's going to be okay durability wise. Time's going to tell, but again, check the comments down below. If I ever have a problem with anything, I will put a comment as the top comment on any of my review videos if something comes up later. Because again, I just haven't had it long enough to test durability, but it's on sale right now. So I wanted to make sure and share it with you guys. So again, 33 inches, you just pull this out. That allows this to extend down. Then you can lock that in place. So you got a little bit of room there. And then this has a lock on it to keep this closed as well. I have that in the unlock position. That allows you to fold up 2 different lights. And as far as the height of it at its lowest position, if you put this on the ground, you're 33 inches from the ground up to here too, even with it open. So that's a good measurement to know if you work in crawl spaces a lot, or if you're going to go up into an attic and you got a tight space, it still opens up in a small space, and it allows you to turn these lights. These lights even open up and change to different positions as well. So you can open these. They turn 360 degrees. They also come up and down. That's a big difference to me between, say, this M12 light. It turns the 180 degrees or so, but there's certain positions where I can't get it in, and I've only got one directional light with that. So if I've got light shining here, that's all I can do. With this light having 2 lights, I can shine one direction, I can shine the other, and I can light up more of a whole entire room that way. So that's going to work out pretty nice for that. Now, if I go ahead and undo these 2 straps here, I can raise it up to its fullest point, and that's going to get me up to 79 inches tall. Hopefully that's all in the picture. I'm not sure if it is or not. I'm going to go ahead and get the battery plugged into it, and then we'll come back and I'll show you the brightness modes of it. All right, guys, I got the M18 battery. Here's the Milwaukee adapter. It just slides in and clicks in, just like maybe if you've got another battery adapter for some other tool. And then that slides in down in here. I'm assuming if you have their battery, it would go just straight in there. You wouldn't have to have that. This is also where I think you plug in the AC adapter, and then you take the cord, plug it into the wall. One downside with this already that I've noticed is that if I try to shut this, if I unlock this and say I'm going to put it up and I go to close it, I expected I wouldn't be able to close it with a battery in there, which I wouldn't leave a battery in it all the time anyways. But even if I take that battery out, it won't shut with this adapter on there. That's kind of a downer, because now that means I got to take this adapter out every time, and then I have to keep up with it. I really would have wished that there was some way they would have made it to where, knowing that they make the adapters, that they could have made it to where you shut the adapter up in there and basically just leave it in there all the time. But again, if I stand this up now, and now that we have power to it, again, as you can see, I can go all different directions. I can even open and close these to different ways, and just all sorts of different ways that you can adjust and move this light. And if I turn on the power, which you have two options with that, there's an actual button here underneath here. It's a little red button. You can turn it on, go through the modes, or there's also a little remote control here that slides and stays onto the unit, but you can also take that off and take it with you, and then also still cycle through the modes with that. So you have 4 modes. This is called night light mode, which is basically like an ambient light. I don't know what you would use this for. I did see a couple reviews where they said they like to have this in their tents, and then that way if you turn it on, you don't have to just be like bam with 8,000 lumens staring you in the face while you're putting on your shoes or doing whatever. But one thing to note is if I turn it off and turn it on, it doesn't remember your last setting. So I know that's that's one thing that a lot of people look for on their lights. They like for it to remember their last setting. This one always goes to high, and then you cycle through high, medium, low, and then that ambient mode there. So again, you can turn it on and off with the remote. That stays on here. And then there's also a little button up in under here, a little red button. I don't know if you can see that. And then that will cycle through it as well. So again, construction wise, I mean, $130, I feel like it's a pretty good light. Does it feel like it's like the most durable light I've ever held in my hands? No. Do I even think it's even close to probably the build quality of the M18 lights or, you know, these Milwaukee lights? It's not too far off from this M12 light, to be honest with you. This is all metal. This part's metal of some kind. I think it's probably aluminum. And then you got some plastic pieces. And then this, if anything was going to fail, I would think it might be these. If it gets tipped over and just hits blunt force onto something like this, that might be where the issue is going to come in. But again, for $130, if someone told me I paid $130 for this, I wouldn't feel like I got a chintzy light for that price range. Now, if I paid $500 for this, I would think I got ripped off. So that's kind of what you're looking at. But I think for the price range that it's in, I think it's fairly good. So again, just to put this up, it's easy. You just kind of fold these down, close those in. You can even lock these to where that way they don't kind of move around. There's a button up here on the top that's got lock and unlock. So that just makes it to where keeps stuff from moving around on you as much. And then again, you'll just open these up, slide those down, and then unlock this one and put that up. But again, you got to take that battery out every single time. You won't be able to close that up all the way with your battery or your adapter in there. So again, you're just going to lock that in place. So sometimes this can get a little bit weird, but it's definitely not as easy as the Milwaukee Lights, where you just, you know, flip this and you just press it down and it goes down in there and closes right up. There's a little bit of a system to this, but once you get it figured out, you know, it's not too awful bad. So then again, it compacts back down like that. And then you can put this strap around, put that in your truck, and there you go. So again, the compactness is nice, the weight's nice, the brightness is nice, which you're going to see here in just a second, and the price to me is nice for what you're getting. But let me go ahead and I'll set up the 3 lights. I'll shine them on this area here, and we'll go from dark to turning them on, and we'll see what the difference is between the 3. All right, guys, so it's pitch dark in my building, as you can see. So I'm going to start with the M12 rocket light. If I turn that on, there's the M12 rocket light on high. You can see that it lights up the space fairly decent. It's not too bad. I mean, that's 1400 lumens. You could do a lot of work with that. So let me go through the next setting. Down on that is low, which is there. Now I'm going to turn it off. The next light I'm going to turn on is the M18 radius light. which is there. That is the spotlight mode. So that's that one light right here on the front, as you can see there. So that's that shining on there. Not too bad. I actually think the M12 rocket light does a better job as far as for flooding out light. But let me go to the radius mode. So there's that mode. That kind of lights up a room a little bit better, but again, it's just still not that bright. It's definitely light enough to be able to see and to do some work. But again, if you're wanting to get into finishing drywall or something like that under temporary lighting, which is kind of the kind of light that you got here that's put off, I'm not sure that it's enough for that. So that's why I was looking for something that was a little bit brighter. So let me turn this one off. So I'm going to turn on the PowerSmith now. So remember, you're going to have 8,000 lumens. We'll see if it's much difference between the two Milwaukee tools. So boom, there's 8,000 lumens. I think that is significantly better. And again, that's pointed in one direction, but I can also move these around the room and you can't see 100% around, but it's lit up quite a bit in comparison. So that is on high. If I hit the cycle button, that's medium. Hit the cycle button again, that's low. And then that's that ambient, night light, just to give you an idea of what kind of light that puts off. Again, that's kind of just enough to light up an area but not be bright in someone's face. So again, I'm going to cycle back to 8,000 lumens. I think even on medium and low, I think I'm still higher than that of the Milwaukee tools. And that's going to save you some battery, because I forgot to mention, but I did put a 5 amp hour battery in the PowerSmith. And at 8,000 lumens, which would be that setting right there, I ran it for an hour and I had 2 bars left. So you might get an hour and a half, something like that, out of a 5 amp hour battery. So the battery life isn't all that great, but that's 8,000 lumens. So again, if you can get away with putting it on medium or low, you're going to get obviously a longer run time out of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn on this M12 rocket light again on high. We're going to put it over there. Again, if I turn off the PowerSmith, that's what kind of light you have with that. I'm going to turn the PowerSmith back on. Let's cycle through and see if we can tell if this is ever really on or not. So here's high, 8,000, medium, low. And if I turn off the M12 light now, I can't really tell much difference when I turn that on, other than I'm getting just a different color light there. So I think the low on the PowerSmith is pretty much about the same as high on this M12 rocket light. And then I don't even know if I'll be able to get anything on this radius light. It just doesn't change much. So I think there is a significant difference in the lumens on that 8,000. But just to give you an idea, again, there's no way for me to test that. No way for me to know, but now you know. This one's supposed to be 2,000. This one's supposed to be 1,400. And to be honest with you, just even with that, I can't tell a lot of difference between the two. So that 600 lumens isn't that big of a difference. But I can tell a huge difference between these and this 8,000 lumen PowerSmith. So again, my overall thoughts on the light is, for $130, or even if it's that $150 regular price, I think the build quality is worth that. Again, I don't think it's the most robust light I've ever felt in my hands. It's not the easiest to open and close, but if you're going to open it once and close it once on a job site during the day, it's not that big a deal. I do like how much it collapses down. I think it's a good size when it's closed up. And again, this kind of brightness that you're getting, I bought it specifically. I was looking for a light for like I said, working on drywall, things like that, but also for filming and things, because sometimes these lights just aren't bright enough in spaces, whether it's in my workspace or even just lighting up this. I'm going to try this PowerSmith on the next video, see if the lighting's a little bit better, because again, I couldn't try it on this one because I was showing it to you. So I bought it for that purpose too, for filming. I think it's going to be a good use there. Maybe if your kids are playing basketball outside at nighttime and you just need temporary lights, you want to put in a battery, you've already got the tools, I think it's a good fit. So let me know what you guys think about it, especially if any of you have it. Put comments down below if you've had any issues with yours, if the durability hadn't lasted long, or if the lights go out, or whatever it is. Again, I think the only downsides to it is, for me, is the adapter not closing up in there, because then I got to worry about losing it. But I think one big thing just to address it is, most people were mad about the fact that you had to buy something extra to make the light work. But again, you just got to think, well, they could include it, but they're going to make the price, that bottom line price, be more expensive to start with, versus now you just have to make sure you choose what it is that you want and how you want to power it. So there's an opportunity to save you some money, unless you just want every option that's available, and then you're going to have to buy all those pieces, and then it's going to get more expensive. So again, let me know what you think about it down below. Hope this was useful in some ways. You guys stay safe, have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.